The husband and wife team behind the wildly popular home remodeling show Fixer Upper says the show's 5th season will be its last.
How does it feel just thinking about it?
I sort of feel torn in the sense that I've never been happier.
Fame doesn't protect anyone from life's toughest moments. For years, Chip and Joanna Gaines seemed to have it all. Family, success, and a bond fans admired. But recently, something changed behind the scenes. Joanna received heartbreaking news that turned their world upside down. Now Chip is stepping back in a way no one expected. What could drive a man like him to walk away from everything he built? Join us as we explore why Chip Gaines is saying goodbye after Joanna's heartbreaking diagnosis, and how this decision could change everything for the Magnolia empire and the family at its heart. Chip and Joanna Gaines's journey through health challenges and family priorities. Lately, there have been stories circling online claiming that something serious happened during the filming of Mini Rennie, the Magnolia Network's short-form renovation show. Some say Joanna Gaines collapsed while on set. Others point to a noticeable pause in production schedules and fewer public appearances by the Gaines family as signs that something isn't right. While none of these claims have been confirmed by Chip or Joanna, the concern from the public has only grown. People are used to seeing Joanna as a steady presence, both in her home life and in her business. So when things suddenly quieted down around her, people began to wonder what was really going on. We know that Joanna has been dealing with serious health issues. In December 2022, she revealed that she had undergone a microdiscectomy. It's a type of back surgery done to fix a slipped disc. Joanna explained that it was connected to an old back injury from her cheerleading days. She had been living with pain for years and finally decided to take action after things worsened. That surgery wasn't related to Mini Rennie, but the timing left many viewers connecting the dots in their own way. Joanna posted a photo from her hospital bed, wearing a surgical cap and smiling slightly. She was calm, but her words under the photo struck a different tone. She talked about the gift to simply stay put and how the year had ended with a surprise operation and time to heal. For someone who had always stayed busy building homes, businesses, and even a television network, that moment of stillness said a lot. Behind that stillness was Chip Gaines. The moment Joanna's surgery was scheduled, Chip stepped away from the spotlight. He cancelled meetings, paused all press-related appearances, and declined several business offers, one of which was a major network deal. According to people familiar with the discussions, the project would have brought in millions and featured a full-season commitment. But Chip said no. His reason? He wanted to stay by Joanna's side. Sources from inside Magnolia said that Chip was completely focused on home. For the first time in a long time, business came second. And in his usual way, he didn't make it about himself. There was no press tour, no dramatic announcement, just action. Magnolia staff members later noted that Chip spent almost every day at home following her surgery. When he wasn't helping Joanna with recovery, he was spending time with the kids or handling small tasks around the farm. He didn't just clear his schedule for a weekend, he restructured their lives so she could focus on healing. For Chip, the decision wasn't complicated. The woman he built everything with was hurting, and he wasn't going to be anywhere else. Even without any public interviews, people could feel it. The Gaines brand may have started as a business, but for them, it's always been about family. And right now, that family was facing something serious. It would only be the beginning of a longer journey that was unfolding behind the scenes. After Joanna's surgery, her world had to change. Recovery from a microdiscectomy is not something that happens overnight. It requires time, patience, and a complete shift in daily routine. For someone who had always been busy balancing business, design, parenting, and television, this was unfamiliar ground. Joanna began physical therapy. According to a source close to the family, her days were structured around healing. Regular stretching, walking, posture correction, and core strengthening became part of her new rhythm. She wasn't rushing to return to sets or meetings. For the first time in years, she started saying no, and those no's became noticeable. Magnolia's day-to-day operations began to shift. Joanna stopped attending weekly production briefings. Designers under her direction started leading meetings themselves. Even her appearances in content from the Magnolia YouTube channel or social media accounts began to thin out. Where fans once expected near-daily updates, there were now long silences. Still, Joanna didn't disappear. In interviews, she opened up just enough to show where her heart was. She talked about stepping back, embracing rest, and finding value in silence. The message resonated with her audience. It reminded people that even someone as driven as Joanna needed to slow down sometimes. And it reminded them that something more serious might be going on behind the scenes. Magnolia's recent promotional campaigns also reflected the change. Chip, who often appeared front and center in their advertisements, had been absent from several of the latest ones. But through all of it, his loyalty to Joanna stayed consistent. Friends noticed it. Former business partners spoke about it. People who had worked with him for years said Chip was rebuilding his priorities around something deeper. The Gaines family has always projected a strong image of unity. But as we'll reveal further, that image was their reality. The family's path to balance. As Joanna stepped back from her usual role and Chip slowed down to match her pace, their children started stepping into view, on their own terms and in their own time. Among them, Ella Gaines, their oldest daughter, has shown a growing interest in the creative side of Magnolia. Born in October 2006, Ella is now in her late teens, and fans of the family have noticed her presence behind the scenes in subtle but meaningful ways. These were small but clear signs that she was becoming more involved. Joanna once mentioned in an interview how Ella was becoming interested and helping to brainstorm ideas. While there hasn't been any formal announcement about Ella joining the Magnolia team, moments like these show she's learning from her parents, not by force, but by choice. Meanwhile, Duke and crew, two of the younger boys, have been seen more often in Magnolia content, especially in farm-related activities. In one episode of Fixer Upper, Welcome Home, Chip brought crew along to a construction site. Even outside the screen, Chip has shared moments from the ranch where both Duke and crew are seen feeding animals, planting seeds, or simply walking through the fields with their dad. Joanna often talks about how important it was to her and Chip that their children are involved in what the couple do at work. She mentioned that while their businesses were growing, these lessons matter even more. That philosophy now seems to guide how the children are slowly stepping into the world around them. Still, it's not about thrusting them into the spotlight. If anything, the Gaines family has become even more careful about how much they share. Unlike many celebrity parents, Chip and Joanna rarely let their kids speak directly to the camera. Most of their appearances are silent moments, clips of walking through the woods, helping out in the garden, or sitting around the kitchen island during breakfast. This balance didn't come by accident. Joanna has often expressed how much she values protecting their children's privacy. She once said she sees herself as a guardian of her children's youth and innocence, especially since they're getting older. That cautious approach hasn't changed. When the children appear on screen these days, there's usually a layer of protection around them. Still, there are signs that the kids are maturing into their roles with confidence. As the family dynamic changes, especially with Joanna's health now in focus, there's an obvious shift in how the children are being raised. It's less about keeping them out of view and more about preparing them for the future, one slow step at a time. And that future doesn't necessarily look like television sets or magazine covers. For Ella, it might mean joining the design side of Magnolia. For Duke and crew, it could be the land they walk on each day, the animals, the soil, and the tools in their hands. Each of them is growing into their own place, supported by the values their parents have always upheld. Work hard, stay grounded, and protect what matters. The Gaines household may look calm from the outside, but inside, things are shifting. And the children are learning what it means to hold each other up when the spotlight fades. Besides, as we know, the Magnolia network has always reflected the energy and values of Chip and Joanna Gaines. But over the last year, the network has been adjusting. These changes haven't always been loud or officially announced, but loyal viewers have noticed them. One of the most visible shifts has been around Fixer Upper, Welcome Home, the reboot of the original HGTV series that helped build the Gaines brand. The first season premiered on Discovery Plus in January 2021, and it marked the return of Chip and Joanna to full-scale home renovation on screen. While fans embraced the new version, the release pace eventually began to slow. By 2023, Magnolia Network stopped releasing episodes regularly, and Fixer Upper, The Hotel, a limited series documenting the renovation of a Waco hotel, aired instead. That series had just 6 episodes, and although it featured both Chip and Joanna, many noted it had a more curated, less casual tone. There was no follow-up season announced, and nothing new under the Fixer Upper name has been publicly confirmed since. During this period, other Magnolia Network shows also saw changes. For instance, Silo's baking competition, the light-hearted series filmed in Waco and hosted by Joanna, went off for some time. Magnolia's YouTube uploads and website content shifted focus toward pre-recorded lifestyle segments, cooking, and behind-the-scenes storytelling, with fewer appearances from Chip and Joanna themselves. Even though Joanna's name remains central to Magnolia branding, on cookbooks, journals, home decor, and packaging, her direct participation has become more subtle. In the early months of Magnolia Network, she frequently appeared in promotions, social media campaigns, and hosted shows like Magnolia Table with Joanna Gaines. But lately, her on-screen presence has been lighter. The most recent episodes of Magnolia Table were filmed months ago, and no new taping dates have been publicly announced. Her voice still guides much of the brand's tone, particularly in Magnolia Journal, where she writes a personal letter in each issue. But for viewers who have followed her closely, the contrast is noticeable. Joanna is still present, but less visible, and her content feels more reflective than hands-on. As for Chip, his appearances have become more spaced out. On social media, his updates have focused more on personal moments, family, farm life, and small behind-the-scenes clips. Compared to earlier years, where he regularly filmed promos and appeared in nearly every Magnolia update, he now shows up less often and usually in shorter, more edited segments. In January 2024, Discovery merged more of its lifestyle offerings under the Max platform. Magnolia content was folded into that space, and some projects were rescheduled. While this change affected several creators across the network, fans noted that Magnolia Network's output had slowed significantly even before the merger took full effect. Still, Magnolia Network remains active, and its brand presence continues across television, publishing, retail, and digital. But the people behind it, especially Chip and Joanna, are no longer moving at the same pace. No doubt the business is adjusting, and the changes reflect something deeper happening at home. Rather than delivering high-energy launches or big announcements, Magnolia now seems to be choosing pause over push. And that slowdown has become part of the story itself. Now, from the beginning, Chip and Joanna Gaines never tried to be traditional celebrities. But over time, whether they wanted it or not, they became exactly that. With a best-selling magazine, hit shows, multiple product lines, and a network carrying their name, the Gaines family found themselves under constant public attention. And that attention hasn't always been easy to manage, especially during personal or sensitive moments. Joanna has spoken openly about her struggle to balance visibility with privacy. Also, she often talks about how important it is to step back sometimes, to find peace in silence, even if the world is still watching. That internal tug-of-war has only intensified in recent years. With fans closely following her health recovery, even the smallest public appearances or absences have sparked speculation. Meanwhile, even Magnolia Journal, which has long been a space where the couple shared thoughts on life, creativity, and family, has taken on a more reflective tone. Recent letters from Joanna have been deeply personal, focusing on themes like slowing down, being present, and accepting change. The language is softer, less promotional, and more introspective. Despite all this, the Gaines family continues to keep a firm boundary between their personal life and public image. Major life updates are rarely shared unless they feel ready. And when big decisions are made, like walking away from certain deals or stepping back from the spotlight, they usually happen without formal announcements. That intentional control over their story has helped them avoid many of the pitfalls that come with fame. But it hasn't made them immune to pressure. In fact, some might say the pressure has only grown, because when you build a brand rooted in authenticity, people expect to know everything, even when you're hurting. Still, Chip and Joanna have held the line. They share what they want, when they want. And even now, with Joanna's health shifting their pace, they haven't let public expectation shape their private choices. But how has their faith helped them hold on to that sense of balance and direction, even when everything around them seems uncertain? Keep watching, because that's exactly where the story goes next. Faith and community. Through all the challenges they've faced, Chip and Joanna Gaines have always pointed to their faith, the one foundation holding everything together. From the earliest days of their public journey, they've never hidden their belief in God. In fact, both Chip and Joanna have regularly spoken about how their Christian faith shapes not just their family values, but also the decisions they make, especially during difficult seasons. In interviews over the years, Joanna has often described her approach to work and life as calling-driven. She said more than once that she sees Magnolia as more than a business. It's a way to serve others through creativity and hospitality. Chip, on the other hand, has shared how prayer has been a central part of their marriage. Chip once spoke about how they prayed before every major decision, from buying their first property to launching the Magnolia market. He described seasons where they didn't know how they'd pay bills and how faith helped them take each next step anyway. But faith, for them, doesn't operate in isolation. Their Waco community has played a big role in how they live that faith out. For years, the Gaines family has attended a local church in Waco, though they've never made a spectacle of it or promoted it publicly. Locals have spoken about seeing them at Sunday services. It's that kind of consistency, done without cameras, that reflects how seriously they take their values. People in Waco have also shown up for them. From shop owners at Magnolia Market to long-time employees, many describe the family as loyal and quietly generous. In several small business features, those who've worked with the Gaineses mention how their leadership style has always emphasized kindness, prayer, and support. Fans, too, have formed an emotional connection to this part of their identity. And through this season of uncertainty, that foundation hasn't shaken. Joanna's reduced visibility, Chip's career pause, and their children stepping up, all of it seems to be held in place by something deeper than business strategy. For them, faith hasn't been a backdrop, it's been the main structure. For years, Chip Gaines thrived on motion. He was always in the middle of something, whether it was a construction site, a business pitch, or filming another episode. But over time, that rhythm has also begun to slow down. And not because he was tired, he simply chose to be still where it mattered. One of the clearest signs of this shift has been the cancellation or withdrawal from several business and media projects. Over time, a number of construction projects that had been highlighted in early Magnolia blogs and press releases suddenly went quiet. A high-profile commercial renovation in downtown Waco, for instance, had been teased with architectural mock-ups and early design concepts. But no updates followed, and the space remains untouched, with no signage or announcement from Magnolia since. Fans have also noticed how rarely Chip appears in Magnolia's promotional campaigns now. In earlier years, he was always part of major seasonal rollouts, appearing in holiday videos, product launch reels, and magazine previews. But since late 2023, his presence has decreased sharply. Recent Magnolia Journal promos and Magnolia table-related features have mostly spotlighted Joanna or contributors. And in the rare times Chip does show up, it's usually in short, quieter clips, working in the garden, spending time with his kids, or walking through a pasture. His Instagram account tells a similar story. Known for his energetic tone and humorous posts, Chip's updates have become more reflective. Friends and former collaborators have responded with both surprise and respect. Some close to the brand have commented on how the couple now attends fewer industry events, turning down invitations to trade expos, design panels, and national media spots. It's not a disappearance but a reorientation. Chip hasn't walked away from Magnolia, but he's not leading it from the front like before. Instead, he seems to be walking alongside it, making room for others to lead while he focuses on what matters most at home. And while fans may not see him as often on screen, those who've followed the Gaines family long enough understand what that means. What do you think? Is there another way for Chip to handle this decision? How do you see this affecting their family and everything they've built together? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the following video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.